members of the media, and actually also I think I omitted you. Apologies for that. Namibia is getting more and more known on the global cycling circuit and as a cycling destination. First and foremost, in an event also organized by Lima Events is the renowned Adventures Attached, which is known across the borders of Namibia. And more people know about it, and I sincerely hope that once COVID is not completely open, that the Europeans and the other nations will come in masses again. But with judging by the tourism coming back to Namibia, this will definitely be happening. And then the other big news of the day is, and I've just looked on the UCI Global website, our leading juniors, Kevin Lowe and Daniel Hahn, currently are on first and second place in the UCI World Rankings. We've never ever had this in Namibia, so for me this is Gushlesh territory. It's something which we can celebrate now because the Europeans are in winter, so we've already had races. They will come up with their races, so it won't last forever. But it is an accolade which we as the Namibian Cycling Federation are very, very proud about. And then lastly, some of you might know or have seen other cyclists on the road as well in German kits and Dutch kits, but currently Dutch and German triathletes have selected Windhoek and Namibia to do high altitude training in their winter months. So this is something which we want to build up in the future as well. Now coming to the Pupkewitz Mega Tour de Windhoek.
Don't forget a woman.
Yeah, true. So this is thanks money for that. Currently we've got our 4 top ladies who are in Accra, Ghana, and will be representing Namibia in the African Road Championships. The first event, the team time trial, is tomorrow. On Wednesday, then on Thursday they will do the individual time trial, and I think on Friday the road race. So that's all thanks for Vera, Courtney, Melissa, and Andri that they do Namibia equally proud. Coming to the Pupkewitz Tour de Windhoek, this year's event, it is again thanks very much to the huge sponsorship from Pupkewitz Mega Build again. I think this deserves a big round of applause as well for continuing with their sponsorship. It is the biggest multi-stage cycling event in Namibia. It is also one of the biggest road events which we know. It comes with a long history. The first one must have come back to 1988 or so. When I was a youngster, I vividly remembering in the early days, and Moni and myself were on the bicycles, myself Leander. He's only started cycling a bit later. It's one of the big events where we've got different nationalities coming to Namibia specifically for cycling event next to the Windhoek Dash. And our ambition was to have more other nations participating. Currently for this year's event, Leander will advise us about South African teams that have entered again, but our ambition is to grow it over the borders of Africa. I had requests from Malawi. They wanted to send a team in. I have heard that they have not entered, and then we also in collaboration with a team from Angola. So I hope in the bigger event of this Tour de Windhoek, we will see international or more regional participation as well and have more nationalities. Then the other big news of this event is that we've got 7 ladies teams entered, which is a huge plus, because I know when I spoke to the president of African Cycling, he said women's cycling development is at the forefront of his agenda, so to have 7 teams in ladies category at this year's Pupkewitz Tour de Windhoek is a big, big plus. So before I hand over to Leander to say something about the race itself and the Tour de Windhoek, I just wanted to thank our sponsors. Just mentioned, apart from Pupkewitz Megabuild and the Pupkewitz Group in general, Radio Wave, Future Media, thanks for your sponsorship, then Kickstart Events, and Geovita has also come on board for this event. So on this positive note, over to you to Leander or Mike.
The race itself, for those who've done it last year, it's actually exactly the same, except it will be rain on different stages this year. So let's hope we won't have the downpour that we had at Tony Rust. Again, registration will be Thursday at Megabolt in Lifestyle. So according to the program, that's where registration will be. Then we'll have a race for the yellow jersey, starting there again, all according to the program. So I'm not going to mention times because I won't have all of that in my head. But it will be a short 5-kilometer race only for the yellow jersey. Like you can see, compliments of Chivita. They gave us yellow jersey for the overall winner, best climber, King of the Mountain the spotted ones, the best sprinter, the green one, the best under the young rider, the white one, and the change. We didn't have the best Namibian rider for the last 2 years because when COVID was, we didn't have South Africans or internationals participating, so it was only Namibians. But for 2023, we reintroduced the best Namibian riders, so there will also be a red jersey people can be racing for. Friday morning, famous Dorobus Road. We've just had a race there, I think 3 weekends ago, so it's all fresh in the memory. So we'll have it back there. There might be a little bit more difficulties because of the rain that we've had. So be prepared. So the cyclists out there, be prepared. Come with spare tubes or some extra sludge sealant in your tires. Afternoon, off to Tony Rust. Spectator race that we've got there. It's not long, it's hard. Races don't need to be long to be hard, so for the people that's done it, you know that you will taste the blood. For the guys that hasn't done it, we'll see you there on Friday afternoon. Saturday morning we start at Lifestyle Center. It's a mixture of matchless, 2 times I think for the elite, once for the women and the light riders, and then we go and do down the bypass for beyond, and then we will finish where national champions have finished last Sunday, so it's also another famous event that the guys are riding. Saturday afternoon, Temesas, again spectator friendly in the just around the corner from where we are now. Again, lights, it's open for, that's also going to be done by the light riders, so you have to do that. The women, you're going to do that, and then a spectacle for the men to actually see how fast the boys can go around the corners. I mean, it's really something for the spectators out there to come and watch that. And then after the great feedback we had from last year, finish stage in Okahandja, starting at Windhoek Dam. I think it's just great to be a little bit out of town. Finishing venue was awesome. I mean, it's different roads that we don't ride every day, and I think it's just great to have it again there. Leanne and I, we were thinking of making some changes, but due to time constraint, we just decided to keep it another year the same. So some of the riders know where to attack, where to be careful. And that's about the route. International riders, I mean, we've got 2 teams from South Africa that's already entered. We had 3. Unfortunately, Honeycomb, the defending champions, 3 of their riders were selected to represent South Africa at the Tour of Rwanda, so they've only got 2 riders left, so we got a sad email that they can't make the tour anymore. But we're looking for another South African team so that we at least have 3 teams from South Africa. And you know, then, like Axel said, 7 teams from women's teams from Namibia. Currently, like always, we only have 7 men's teams, but I'm positive we're going to have a full 15 teams. So I know of at least 6 teams that hasn't entered yet. And with the women, there might be some new teams that pop out because it is a once a year opportunity. And then I want to take this opportunity, the light riders, and it's a big effort that we also put in to incorporate you guys. It's much shorter, it's about 70% of what the elite riders are doing. You only do 4 stages, so only this Friday morning. Saturday morning is not as hard. Saturday afternoon you're part of this whole with doing the criteria, but I mean, you will only get a time penalty if you only finish 1 lap, and then Sunday to be part of this. So I really encourage the light riders, for the people that are out there, get them to enter. It's for a good cause. And then just again from me, from Lima, Leander, thank you to our sponsors, Pupkewitz. I think it's from the reinstatement that we've done this. Megabuild is the lone owner of the event now, and a great contribution. Radio Wave, thank you for keeping it in the public's ear. Boss with his support, and then Chivita coming on board this year, giving us these lovely jerseys, hopefully in the right sizes. Maybe that's from me. If there's any questions from the riders that's here, from the press, feel free. sure I can answer as much as possible.
Maybe just wanted to find out, you spoke about the male South African teams coming. Have you not tried to probably maybe get the South African team to join the women's side or to create competitive males and maybe the two South African teams that will be coming, what team are they?
Okay, yeah, so I mean, I think 3 years ago we had one South African elite or one South African ladies team here. To be honest, I think South African cycling is in a bit of a dire straits. So I don't know if there's really racing teams out there. So I know there's mountain bike teams and preparation. You know, there might also be people that's, like I said, that's been selected from South Africa to go to Rwanda. Some of the top riders, they might be preparing for the Africa Epic, so they're doing other events. So it's difficult to get the people. The men's teams that are coming, it's DMS. So it's David Mare's team, I think. So he's been here a couple of times. And in Team Tech Racing, they've also been here, I think, 3 or 4 times. So youngsters that knows the terrain. And then, I mean, I've spoken to them also to try and get just individual ladies to come and ride for some teams here. And I mean, even that is a challenge. So for us to have 7 ladies teams, I think we can give the ladies a real clap on the back, because I mean, that's really impressive. I don't think South Africa can boost that. So yeah, that's the South African men's teams that are coming up to now.
If I can just add on the ladies team, at the 94.7, at the ladies race, there was non-ladies team involved in the 94.7 race, and the men's, all the teams were there, and no ladies teams. They struggled to get the ladies teams up and running in South Africa.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, 3 years ago there were teams, but I mean, if I have to go and invite somebody now, I mean, I know mountain bike teams, and like I said, I mean, for them, it's the last 4 weeks before Cape Epic, so you know, they will have different preparation to do that. But again, I'm happy to have 7 Namibian ladies teams here, and I mean, to do the battle out there, and if we showcase that to the other African nations, and that's what we're busy doing. You never know where we'll be next year.
Thank you very much, Mani.
Thank you very much, Axel.
So you've got it from the race organizer, Mr. African himself. So thanks again for partnering and organizing this prestigious event. I would like to call up one of the lady riders as well. Jana from Pupkewitz needs a little introduction. She just wants to, on behalf of Pupkewitz, together with Pupkewitz Mega, will just mention something about the I Love Pupkewitz campaign and project she's creating. Over to you, Jana.
Good afternoon, everybody. 1 in 8 women will suffer from breast cancer in their lifetime. And in Africa, only 40% of them will survive. So thank you, Axel, for the opportunity to speak. I'm for organizing this. And then I think the biggest thank you goes to Megabolt in collaboration with I Love Boobies. So we do 2 things mainly. The first thing we do is we do breast cancer awareness. Because what we believe is that early detection will save lives. And then the second thing we do is that we screen women that don't have access to easy access to medical care. Medical care, say for example, a lot of socks. 5 pairs of socks can screen 1 woman. So for us, that is mainly what we do. Previously, we've collaborated in the likes of PSG and Cycletech, and this year we are very fortunate to collaborate with Megabolt and the whole Pupkewitz group. Pupkewitz, Megabolt, Megatech, Motorsport, Audi. So what we're going to envision to do through the whole year, and not stopping by at the end of the year, is to screen all the ladies in the lower tiers from the Pupkewitz group. So thank you very much, Lynn. Thank you for working together. It's a really big thing. The other day I was really emotional because I realized I Love Boobies is much bigger than just a pair of socks. We really save women's lives and we impact families. So thank you very much for the collaboration, and I'm sure all of these ladies and guys that sit in here are going to make you proud.
Genders, and it is a collaborative effect here which we are doing, making the world a better place. So thanks for all of your efforts, Jana, and the entire I Love Boobies team. I was fortunate enough to meet some in South Africa. then conclude from my side just some final Q&A session if there are any questions to me in terms of the Women's Cycling Federation, where we are and what we're doing, but otherwise I would conclude this official media launch of the 2023 Pupkewitz Mega Tour de Windhoek, and thank all of you for coming and Ali for streaming it live and bringing it out to the masses as well, so that the newspapers can cover it. And then I would welcome all of you, also the spectators, to come and support this event as of next week, Thursday. The big event days will be, as Moni has said, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. All the information is available, so it is in the media. Feel free to contact us if you need anything else. And then to the media that still wanted to speak to me, feel free to.
There's an interesting display of